What's going on, guys? Big welcome to you all to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta and we are back with another video. This time we'll talk about the new Clan Selection Plus Volume 1, because if you guys haven't seen our last video, we talked about the newest reveals, which was From Us and of course Dauntless. So these cards actually are revealed and both of them are from set 2, or Volume 2 of the set, which is the newer set, which of course features Royal Paladin, Oracle Tank, Genesis, Kagero Nobutama, Nova Grappler, Dimension Police, Spike Rose, Bill Moon, Bermuda Triangle, Aqua Force, and Great Nature. But in today's video, we will talk about the reprints from the first set, because we haven't really made a video to talk about these reprints. So today we will talk about the reprints of this set and if we should make actually the right choice or not by reprinting these cards, looking at the clan. Alright, so as you know that every clan will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. 4 of them being a reprint and the first one being a new unit that they introduced to the clan. These boosters or packs, or let's say set, is kind of the same as the we have had these in the past as in special series, but let's say that they are kind of the same as the premium collection, but these you could play in standard. So they make some reprints and make some new cards. So for this set, we'll talk about the clans, or for this video, we'll talk about the first volume. So volume 1, and which features Angel Feather, Shadow Paladin, Gold Paladin, Tachikaze, Murakumo, Narukami, Link, Joker, Dark Irregulars, Great Nature was on the second set. I mean, Gear, Chronicle, Granblue, Megacolony, and Nectar. So 12 clans in this set and 12 clans in the other set. Alright, so let's start with the first one, which we have right here is Angel Feather. So we have, click on every card and we'll talk about these cards and if they made the right choice or not. So first of all, Perfect Guard. When they reprinted the Perfect Guard, I actually wasn't really happy, because we have got these Perfect Guards reprinted already. We have a SP, and actually we have enough reprints. That's my idea. But I could see that people which try to build new decks still have troubles with having these Perfect Guards or getting these Perfect Guards. So getting these Perfect Guards, which let's say like €1/$1 each, is actually perfect, because you will be paying like €5/$5 for the playset, which is perfect, right? So we don't really want to pay like 5 till 10 for each copy, which means that you have to be like paying 20 till 40 euros for the whole playset, and with that you're already paying a lot and you're not even getting the complete deck. So I do understand that they are reprinting these, and so the same goes for Angel Feathers. It's not the most expensive one, definitely not, but it's very nice to see her getting reprinted. And then they chose to reprint 2 of the triple R's from last set. So I think that's very smart, because both of these cards are actually needed in Angel Feather, and because they are actually keeping the same theme as they will give them in new units, as in Milk, I think that this is actually pretty nice. So what they did is they reprinted a promo that we didn't get yet in the TCG, and they gave the clan the 2 last triple R's. So in my idea, that's actually very smart, because both of these cards are actually needed. So that's pretty good for Angel Feathers, and of course getting a new unit is always nice, keeping the same theme. When it comes to Shadow Paladin, they actually chose to give the Witch archetype back, or that's what we think. We don't know if it would be the Witch archetype. Maybe it's just like the Witch card, but maybe it will not do something with witches, or it would not do something with Great Zeros. I do definitely hope that it does, because this card was actually, or this deck was actually very nice to play in the past. So I hope that they keep the skill true to the original skill of the witches from Shadow Paladin. Of course, they reprinted the PG again. Yeah, that's pretty smart, because you don't want these cards to be expensive. The same goes for the main, one of the most expensive cards of the whole game, as being just a reprinted rare or being a triple rare. It's still really nice to reprint her again. And all of these reprinters, don't forget that they are actually going to be triple Rs. So that's pretty nice. You get the shiny cards. They also chose to reprint Karen. I think that's just a smart choice because it's an older card, but it's still needed in most decks. I sometimes just tag her in there. And they also reprinted one of the hard to get promos, let's say, which is Dragon Armor Dragon. So again, a very smart choice from Bushi. Alright, let's go to the next one, which is Gold Paladin. For Gold Paladin, they chose to give Spectral Duke Dragon back, which I think is also nice because it's one of the favorite cards for some people. And this was actually a stride in the early game, which was also pretty good, very strong, but also a grade 3 version out of it. So pretty much you could play this card like in the Limit Break era, but you could also play him in 0 if you want to. So we will have to wait and see what this card would do in the V series. It was a card that that the Gold Paladin players really had lots of fun with it because it worked a little bit different than their original Gold Paladin cards. And the good thing about this card is it gave like that Shadow Paladin vibes into it, at least for me. So that's also nice to be able to tag that in your golds, because golds took a lot from royals but not much from shadows. Alright, so when it comes to the reprints, of course they reprinted Perfect Guard, as we'll not go through that for every clan. They chose to reprint this card, which is, in my opinion, a smart choice because you definitely tag her in lots of decks, but I don't think that it's expensive card enough to need to be reprinted, but at least you get her in a triple R foiling, so that's definitely nice. And then they chose to reprint the twins, as in the grade 2 and the grade 1 version of these. I think that's good. I mean, maybe they are needed with a new card, I don't know. That's maybe why they reprinted them, but again, both of these are triple Rs, so it's always good to have those triple Rs get reprinted to be able to get like a cheaper version out of the deck. Most of the time, these reprints are not way less expensive than the original cards. Alright, for Tachikaze, of course, we have the Perfect Guard. Again, not a very expensive Perfect Guard. We have Savage Trooper. This is definitely a good card to reprint, although we have already got like lots of different variants of it being a promo. I think 2 or 3 times we got it as a promo. It's still a hard to get card, and expensive card sometimes, or most of the time it's just out of stock. So that's one of the reasons why people get irritated and just can't get the card. So I think it's still nice to reprint this. And the next card that they reprinted, which was very smart, is Sweeper. Sweeper Arakanta. This card is a monster, as I like to call it, and you definitely need it, especially because now, like, your Anger Blader is back at 4. People maybe have their Anger Bladers, but they don't have this card. Or you could just tag this card in every Tachikaze deck and it would actually work. So a very smart choice to reprint this card. Is a very hard card to get and sometimes could get very expensive, depend on which phase Tachikaze is doing. They also reprinted Mega Rex, again a very good card to reprint because it's one of the triple Rs from the oldest set, so it's very hard to get. But at the same time, it's a card that you could tag in almost every deck, especially riding into it is definitely good. But also just getting that draw power is also nice. For Tachikaze, they also gave a whole new unit, which is kind of interesting because they gave Anger Blader back, they gave like the new VR, which is Gaia, which is, some people say, mediocre. I think it's alright. It's not definitely not as good as Luar or Gurgit, of course, but they gave Anger Blader back, so that's finally good, I think, for some Tachikaze players. And for others, maybe, I don't know, they get irritated about it. We did a video to talk about the ban list, so you could check that out if you want. But they gave her a new unit for Tachikaze, so that's definitely interesting. They didn't want to reprint any of the older cards, so we don't know what this card would do. For the art, I actually like it. I like the colors on it. You can see the cannons very clearly, which is pretty nice. It's not too much, it's not too crowded, but it's definitely a very nice looking card. Alright, now we go to Murakumo. When it comes to Murakumo, they also actually gave Shiryuki back, which means that Shiryuki will maybe work with his Shiryuki, so you could actually create a Shiryuki deck. Of course, we don't know what the new Shiryuki will do, but we should already said that you could play the old Shiryuki 4 times, so that's good. And why am I saying this? Because they also reprinted the grade 2 and the grade 1 searchers / getting the Shiryuki back to your hand. They also reprinted these two, which means that you definitely would play a Shiryuki deck. They also reprinted the PG, of course, and they reprinted the promo that we didn't get in TCG, so that's also pretty nice that you could play these in your Shiryuki deck if we are really making a Shiryuki deck. I'm very interested to see, because the Shiryuki, of course, is not the Stride, but it's the other grade 3. As in its original form, this is the second grade 3 that we've got, which was only a rare, but this card was actually pretty nice because you could really make a Shiryuki deck. So yeah, this is definitely interesting. Now to go through more Norakami. For Norakami, they actually went with Vermilion. So they reprinted the older Kaiser Vermilion, and they are giving them the Blood. Well, of course, we don't know what this card will do, but I hope that it stays to that original, let's say, crossed right thing, because this actually worked very well with the older Vermilion, having it getting like the crazy ability. You could also Legion with it and stuff, but we'll have to see what the new cards would do. Reprinting this Vermilion means that you actually need it in the deck, which is also pretty good. And then they actually gave Phoenix back again, another reprint, but I think it's also good because it's a card that you play in almost every Narukami deck. The Perfect Guard also a little bit could get a little bit expensive, so it's good to have. Narukami always doing so good with Vanquisher, and now even with Vermilion, we will have to wait and see what those cards are capable of. This card, which also we have got already as a promo, but it was an expensive promo and maybe not that easy to get, so it's also very nice to get the foiling out of it, and also a very good card. A 12k beater, a 10k shield with like the ability that of course could not attack if your opponent has something in the front row, but again, that's fine, right? I mean, you will definitely get rid of their front row. That's the whole idea of the deck. Otherwise, you could just guard with it or intercept with it, still good. When it comes to Link Joker, they gave Chaos Breaker back. One of the cards that made lots of people go insane and think that the lock mechanic is maybe finally getting back. Well, I don't think so. I don't think that they will bring lock to the V series or to the V format, but we'll have to wait and see. I definitely like the art. Chaos Breaker was also always had a very nice art with the whole site and stuff. So I definitely think that this card will get played a lot. Doesn't really matter which ability or what its ability will be. Just being a Chaos Breaker name works in premium, so that's also good. Like having the Star Vader, Chaos Breaker is definitely good. So yeah, for me, I'm not a fan of Chaos Breaker, and it doesn't really make a big difference for me, but I think that lots of people that are watching this video, or in general, hate Chaos Breaker or love Chaos Breaker. You can't be in between. You hate it or love it. It's like you're on one of these sides. For me, I think I don't really hate it, because I always knew how to play around it, but it was not easy. Okay, for the reprints, I'm interested why they reprinted this card. I mean, it was not necessarily stable in Messiah. Yeah, you could tag her in there, but it, like, yes, in the first set it was, but later on they actually got better cards. But it's definitely a good card to have in the deck. So I don't know why they reprinted it, and it's also just a double rare, it's not even a triple rare. So that's for me is lots of question marks. And we get one of the promos. Always good to get those promos that's very hard to get or we didn't get. And then they also got this card back, which is another promo, but a promo that we have already got in English, maybe easy, not that easy to get, but again, it's a deleted promo, so we'll have to wait and see what that will do. And of course, we also have a Perfect Guard. This is a very nice art of the Perfect Guard, of course. So that's also pretty nice that we will get that Perfect Guard as well, because it's also, again, not the easiest Perfect Guard to get. Alright, so we talked about Link Joker, now we talk about Dark Irregulars. For Dark Irregulars, they actually made very good choices to reprint those. First of all, they of course gave it the Perfect Guard back, again, for every clan. Dark Irregulars don't really rely on that Perfect Guard that much, but it's good to have it. Killer Tail, a very smart choice, because it's a guard that is necessary to have. So it's very smart to give Killer Tail back, and they also chose to give Emblem Master back. So another reprint of Emblem Master, which works great with Killer Tail, especially in the Charlotte deck. So you play 4 on 4. And then they gave us also in promo. So this promo is one of the cards that people actually will play in their Charlotte deck, as I will try her as well. It's a very good card, her or him, I don't know, but it's a very good card. What it does pretty much is you retire it, and then you choose one of your opponent regulars and retire it. So you go 1 for 1, but then you soul charge 2. So it's definitely very good. If this would go to soul, and then you retire one of your opponent, that could be even better. But with Killer Tail, it's good to get something in the drop zone, because you could put it from the drop zone back to your soul, which means you could recall it with a Gold Ray or other stuff. So again, it's a very, very good card, and look at this flavor text. So yes, Dark Irregulars got good reprints, and we have Gastille. Gastille being one of my favorite units of Dark Irregulars, of course. It's really nice. I love the old Gastille. I also have him in SP, and I like this stride, but a little bit less than the older one, because with this stride they took it a little bit too far, if you ask me. Especially with NLK, I always said that NLK, any Gastille stride should not be in the same deck. But definitely nice to have Gastille back. I'm very interested to see what this card would do, and I hope that you could run it in Charlotte, because I definitely love playing Charlotte. Alright, now we go to Gear Chronicle. Gear Chronicle again is actually getting a new unit, and pretty nice reprints as well. So the new unit that they have gotten is actually another interdimensional dragon. Of course, it's an interdimensional dragon, but Time Reaper dragon. I love the name, although it doesn't really look like a Reaper, but it's a unit that we didn't have in the past, so we'll have to wait and see what this card is capable of. For the reprints, they gave Aircop back. Could be expensive card, depending on which time we're talking about, but definitely a card that you could run in multiple Gear Chronicle decks. So again, a very nice reprint. The second reprint that's also very, very, very good, and I think one of the best reprints of this whole set with Nemain, is actually Chronotooth. Because Chronotooth Tiger, or Tiger, or whatever you want to pronounce it, is a very expensive card, especially for a double rare. So a card that you actually could run in lots of your Gear Chronicle deck, and being an expensive card, especially for people who love Gear Chronicle a lot and build multiple decks out of their Gear Chronicle clan, then this card is like a pain in the ass for them. So it's good to have that getting reprinted, and also in the triple R foiling. So that's good, because originally it's just a double rare. I think you could get it in SP, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, and then we got, of course, one of the promos that we didn't get, so that's also pretty nice, and the PG. And now we get to Granblue. Granblue also have some expensive cards. Did they make the right choice right here? Of course, reprinting the Perfect Guard, again, was not very expensive, but Ripple Banshee is of course very good to reprint, because it's a card that you could play in every Granblue deck. Maybe not 7Cs, but definitely lots of Granblue decks, and standard and premium, definitely good. Just get power and draw a card. It costs only a Soul Blast, so easy peasy. Greed Shade, another important card which could be very expensive. Already got reprinted if I'm not mistaken, but still expensive. So very, 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 very good to have that getting reprinted. A stable card in lots of Granblue decks. And we also got Skull Dragon. Skull Dragon is again also an expensive card that you actually need in your Granblue deck, especially talking premium and standard. If you're talking 7Cs, then not. But if you're talking Nitros, then yes. Even Kokaides, yes. Alright, and then we will have this Ghosty Leader. This is not the original Grade 3 that we have got in the Giora, which works with the Ghosties, but I think that she would do something with Ghosties. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. I definitely like the art, I like the Ghosties of Granblue, so we'll have to wait and see what this card is capable of. Alright, now we get to Megacolony, and then we finish off with Nectar. So Megacolony, again, of course, first the PG, was not that expensive. Then we got Millipede, a very, very, very smart card to reprint, because this card is expensive. This card is Just it's irritated that it's out of stock everywhere. Like you can't get this card. And being able to get her in a triple R foiling is also pretty nice. But again, one of the best reprints of the whole set because it's just a very, very hard card to get. Then they've also chose to reprint the Butterfly Officer. It's a card I think from the first set. Yes, from the first set for Megacolony. So sometimes it's hard to get, but it's just a common, so it wasn't that expensive, and still it's not that expensive. And lots of shops have it like in stock. So again, it's not that much expensive or hard to get. But what the good thing about this is they're getting this card in a triple R foiling, which is very nice, especially if you play Gridora. And Gridora actually love to play this card. So I think that's one of the reasons why they reprinted this card, because it works with Gridora, but because it's not a promo, it's not as good as reprinting Millipede. They also reprinted Mantis. Mantis had been reprinted in the past in the Festival collection, but again, it was expensive and it was just a rare, and people love to play those triple R foiling. And it's a card that you could tag in every Megacolony deck, standard and premium. It just costs a counter blast, but still okay. Especially in Gridora, because Gridora herself doesn't have a heavy cost. Alright, and then we got Venom Stinger. Well, I love the name Venom. I love how the card looks as just the art of the unit itself. Like if you got this in action figure. But I really don't understand why the background looks like that. I mean, yes, I understand it's a Venom Stinger, but still, I don't know. I'm a big fan of Dark Faces because it has the dark arts and those dark colors, but this card is just too different for me. So I have mixed feelings about this. But again, we will have to wait and see what the skill is. For a Neo Nectar, let's start with a Perfect Guard. Again, they're getting a Perfect Guard. Of course, every clan is getting those. They actually gave Fruits Basket Elf again. I don't think that this was necessary. I understand that maybe you want to play this in a triple R foiling. Okay, sure, up to you. But I don't think that this was necessary reprint for me or for Neo Nectar players. They got one of the promos. It's always good. I will not go into these promos as you see. And it's another promo that's very expensive to get and also not that easy to get. I think this is one of the promos that we have got from the shop challenge or from the thank you fest. I don't know for sure, but I do know that it's not that easy to get, and it's a very good card that you could play. So was this again important to have reprinted? I don't know. I think that they could have reprinted also something different, but again, I'm not the Neo Nectar expert, so pretty much up to you guys to say if that was a good reprint or not. And then we get to one of the most beautiful cards out of the whole set, which has a beautiful art. I know that Fira will love this art, and we'll have to wait and see what this maiden is capable of, because we don't know the ability yet. So that's actually it for this video. In the next video, we'll also talk about the Volume 2. So about those reprints, and maybe we'll have some other cards to show you like in reveals. Again, thank you guys for watching. Until next time.